everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and we are going to work some more on our unusual folio today. Now I'm going to change how I did this from the last time when I made my prototype, and I'm hoping that it's going to make it more foolproof. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have you go to your add-on sheets, the add-on kit, and pull page 1 and 2, and then page 12 of the add-on kit. I'm going to cut these out, and I noticed that I must not have had my paper and my printer right, and I have cut off one edge of one of these. So be sure you score up your paper and your printer when you do this. I had somebody ask me why I didn't include PNG files, because she said she has a cutting program that she wanted to use and that needs PNG files. So on this journal, I did add PNG files for that reason. I have no idea if they work because I don't have a cutting program, and there's all different ones out there. So if any of you guys are using this with a cutting program, let me know if it works, if the PNG files are working, because if they do, I'll keep making them for you guys. But if they don't, I won't worry about it. So then we're going to cut this piece out of page 12, and I'm going to leave that other piece attached. I try not to cut my pieces out ahead of time on these complicated journals because I need all the help I can get keeping it straight. So I leave my page numbers and my pieces on the page until I am actually using them. So, and then you're going to need your scoreboard, or else if you don't have a scoreboard, you can just take something sharp and drag a line across your fold, and it'll fold easier. I resisted getting a scoring board for a long time because I thought it was kind of a silly thing, kind of a waste of money, but it's not. Also because it was kind of expensive, but it really has earned its way. I have to say, I use it all the time. So I'm going to save this page 12 little piece down here, and then I'm going to get my scoring board, score this. And score these two pieces. And then I'll show you what this is. This is, even though it looks like 2, and it doesn't go back to back, we're going to create a 3 panel. And so what we do is we want to line the 2 up that are exactly the same size. So I turned it around because see how this is exactly the same size panel. And we're going to glue these together, okay? And this is a short fold panel. In other words, it's a little bit shorter. See how it folds. You want to have room, and that's just so that everything doesn't get all in there and get all tight and jammed up. So it's just a little bit shorter, okay? So what we're going to do is glue these 2 panels together. I took the tip off of my art glitter glue because it was clogged up. So now I'm going to have to try to manage my All right, got those 2 glued. So there's our 3 wing, and then here's what I'm calling our 2 wing. And it's really a framework. So we're going to come back and put pretty papers over them, or fabric, or whatever you decide to use. But for now, we're just going to do the framework. And that's what I'm doing different this time, because I think this will make it a lot easier and won't make some of the mistakes that have happened in the past. And so this, now what we need to do is we need a hinge. And so what you're going to want is a piece of scrap paper, cardstock will work. So I'm gonna look through my stash of paper here. Okay, I found some scraps of cardstock, and you want a piece that's like 1 3/4 to 2 inches wide, and this is like not quite 1 3/4, but I think it'll work. So what I want is a piece that's about 7 inches long. So, and this doesn't have to be exact. These are just, we're going to cut hinges that won't show. So I'm just going to eyeball it and kind of go like that. And chop that off and cut me another piece. Actually, I need a smaller piece for the other one, but we're going to use one for the 2-wing that's not quite that long. So like maybe that long. And I will use the scoreboard. That will make it easy. So sort of put it in the middle. Just kind of eyeball it. And score it. Same with this one. And then fold those. And then we're going to I cut off the ends just because that way you don't have anything showing. Not that it would, but I do it anyway. You don't have to, but I can't seem to stop myself, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so these are your hinges, and you're going to attach the 3-wing like this. So here's your front of your frame, and we're going to attach this to the frame so that it has one panel here, and then these two fold out. So I'm going to take it like this and center it, fold it back so you know that it's not bound up. See how that's a little tight? So I'm gonna let it fold itself over and be where it needs to be so it folds nice. And then I'm going to take my hinge and I'm going to glue this on. And it may just be the thickness of the paper, because this is what I'm talking about with a lot of this stuff. You don't allow for the thickness or turning around something, folding something over. So this is where you can have issues if you're not careful. So you want to make sure it folds pretty nice. That folds nice, that folds nice. And this is actually going to fold like this. And then it's going to fold in like this. So it should be fine. And then we're going to have the 2-wing we attach to this edge like this. And the hinge, we want it to be on this side. Okay, so center it top to bottom as best you can. Get my little hinge here. And get it like on the edge, like right on the edge. And then this is going to glue on top of it like this. Center it top to bottom. So like that, more or less. Try to get the glue right along that fold edge too. That's where you really want it to be well glued on this edge over here. And then put this on. Get it right to the edge of that other piece. Glue it in. Okay. So that's different from how I've done it before, but I think that's going to be better because this is sort of our skeleton of the whole thing. So now we're going to add all our pretty pieces and parts to this. We will cover up all of the hinges and everything, and hopefully nothing goes haywire. So anyway, sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Okay, I've been sitting here for at least half an hour looking at my papers that I've pulled out. So like I said, you want to coordinate your papers sort of a little bit, I'm guessing. So I started to pull green, and I know I have blue on that fabric, so then I started to pull blue, and I realized I had a lot of blue that I like, probably more than I have green. So we'll see how that works out. But then I narrowed it down because what we're going to do next is we're going to do sort of the outside of the journal. And so you're going to want something for the spine, something for this back cover paper. The pocket we can worry about later. And then the paper for these 3 flaps here is what's going to show mostly. So that's several pieces that you kind of want to at least, if not coordinate, at least not look ugly with. So I think I've got it narrowed down to my spine. I think I'm going to have that back panel be sort of this. And I won't put you through the pain of my analyzing why, but that I'll figure out a pocket later. And then I think I'm going to do this for the spine. No, this one for the spine. And then this for the 3 flaps. And even though this color blue is a little bit different, it doesn't bother me. I think it looks kind of good together. So this will be the top flap. And then underneath it will be these 2 flaps. And so those are my flap papers. And this is my spine paper, and this is my back cover paper. I'm going to take my page 3 out of the regular kit, the main kit, 3 and 2 for now. And actually there's the pocket for the back cover, but I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to cut out the spine cover and the back cover. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have decided I'm going to use a fabric for my spine cover. So I'm going to use this pattern, and I'm just going to use, or extend it like 1/2 inch on each end, just enough to fold over. And so I hope this doesn't scare anybody how I do this, but this is just kind of how I work, like on top of everything. So, well, how about a pencil? And this will be plenty of bleed on each side to go over and hide underneath the other stuff. So I don't have to extend it on the sides, just on the top and bottom. So I'm going to cut that out. Something to think about while you're doing this, all the edges may or may not show. And so if you want to take washi tape and like go over all your edges with washi tape, if you're, you know, very particular and want it done that way, you can. I did that on the prototype, and there were several edges that after I taped them, I didn't really need to tape them. So I kind of got, like lazy, I guess. And I thought, well, I'm going to look at it here in a minute and see, because I know this Captain Crunch box, I don't want like a bunch of bright red sticking out on the edges anywhere. So I may still have to go back and tape it, but okay. So if you cut this out of paper, you just glue it on, and it's going to be a little tricky because see the folds. Remember what I told you? So what I would do if I was doing this with paper is I would measure off 2 inches and score it, like measure the 2 inches off in the middle and score it a couple of times and then wrap it around and glue it. The other thing you can do is just cut it 2 inches wide. If you cut it 2 inches wide, it's going to just cover the spine, and you will see the edges. Now this masking tape doesn't look too bad, so it really wouldn't hurt anything, but depending on what you've got underneath, you might want to put a strip of washi tape under it and then glue the spine on. So there's several ways I just told you to do spines. So you can pick which way you want, and any of them will work. Don't worry about it too much. So I'm gonna, I just thinned my Fabri-Tac, and so it's going to be maybe hopefully it doesn't give me fits. Sometimes when you thin it, it gets really thin and doesn't want to glue. And yeah, that's what it's going to do for me. It's not going to want to stick. I haven't got it mixed up really well yet. So let me try it again. I really didn't think I was going to be doing anything for my videos, so I didn't worry about it, because usually if it sits for a day or two, it all kind of equalizes and everything's fine. But I'm just going to guess on this. Let me see how that looks. That's a little bit short. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of roll this back and basically just kind of manhandle it into the right length, like that. Yeah, that looks like that'll work. So now I just need to get it to stick. Easier said than done. And, you know, I could take it over, sew it on the sewing machine, but I'm still going to have to stick it to the spine. So I'm not going to put you through the agony of watching me do this, because what I'm going to do is open my bottle up and stir it, and it's going to be a big globby mess. And that might be really funny and fun to watch, but I don't think I want that on the video. So I'm going to glue this onto here with my Fabri-Tac, and then I'll be back. I got that glued on, and it was a mess, but it's on there. And I do think I'm going to go around and put washi tape on some of these edges. Now this is sticking up just a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm going to find what washi tape do I want to use? I'm just going to find something kind of plain, I really just want to knock back this bright blue on this Captain Crunch box a little bit. So and, you know, like I said, when you wrap things around an edge, it takes up more room. So I'm going to do one side, come back over here, and wrap this side. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this edge too. If a little bit of that masking tape shows, that's fine with me. I don't care. There's so much going on when you get this done that like an edge here or there isn't going to make any difference, but it won't hurt to cover these just in case. And like that, you know, like you don't want a bright green. The colors on this are just so bright, it might call attention to itself. So every time I do one of these, I tell myself like, oh, I'm not going to do the edges, and then I end up doing the edges. So you can also wrap the whole thing in brown paper. That would be another thing if you want to just play it safe, so to speak, and have a neutral base. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and you can see what I'm doing here, and you can go ahead and work on yours and do as much or as little as you want to do. And when we come back, we'll go ahead and finish putting these panels on the cover, or well, on the back cover, and then we'll work on those flaps that go on the cover of the journal. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.